Alright, so let's take a look at some scientific notation here. I'd rewrite that as 84,300 with a decimal there, and I'm moving the decimal to the left. So when I move it to the left, I mean it's going to be a positive, right? So it's 8.4 because that is in between 1 and 10. So I moved it 4 spots. Remember, you always move items in between the first and second digit, so it's 8.43 times 10 to the fourth power. It's positive because we moved it to the left. If you move the decimal point to the left, it's positive. Remember that. If you move the decimal point to the right, it's a negative exponent. So in this problem, to rewrite in scientific notation, right, I'm going to be moving it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, and I'm moving it to the right, so it's going to be a negative 5 because I'm moving it to the right. So it's 3.38 times 10 to the negative 5. And remember, I moved it in between the first and second because that's going to be in between 1 and 10. You want that number to be in between 1 and 10 in the beginning. And it's negative 5 because we moved it to the right 5 spots. Once again, if you move the decimal point to the left, it's positive exponent. If you move the decimal point to the right, it's a negative exponent. 4,780 in scientific notation. I move it 1, 2, 3 spots to the left. Since I'm moving it to the left, it's positive. So it's a positive 3. And 4.78 is in between 1 and 10. So that's how I know that I moved it to the right spot, and it's also in between the first and the second digit. Rewrite that in scientific notation. I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots, and since I moved it to the right, that's why it's a negative 5. 3.95 is in between 1 and 10. Now multiplying with this stuff and dividing with this stuff can be a little trickier. So when we're doing this, just take a look at the numbers first. Just multiply them. What is 8.3 times 2? 16.6. Good. Now 10 to the 5th and 10 to the 12th. Well, all we need to do is you take the exponents, and what do you do when you're multiplying with exponents? You add them, right? So it's negative 5 plus 12, which happens to be 7. But this right here, this is 16.6. That's not in between 1 and 10. So I have to move the decimal point. And I move it 1 spot to the left. So if I move it to the left, right, what happens when you move it to the left? It's positive. So that's why it's now 1.66. And because it's positive, I added 1 to that. So 7 plus 1 is 8. That's why it's 1.66 times 10 to the 8th. So we multiply again. 7 times 5 is 35. And we take the exponents and you add them because it's multiplication. So 7 plus negative 6 is 10 to the first power. So 35 times 10 to the first power, but we can't have 35 because that's bigger than 10. So how can I rewrite that? So it's in between 1 and 10. I move the decimal 1 spot, and since I moved it to the left 1 spot, that means I need to add 1 to that, so it's 3.5 times 10 squared. And that is the end of the examples. So I hope those examples were a little more helpful. Once again, I might have moved through them pretty quick, but you can pause and rewind at any time that you choose to do so. And on top of that, like I said, do the problem first, see if you get the answer. If you do, then you obviously didn't need my assistance. Okay? And if you don't get it, then go over it. Then see what I did and see how you're supposed to do it. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to email me and ask.